Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Podcast listeners, Al Martin here. Thank you for listening. I'm excited today. Well, I'm excited every day, but I'm really excited now that I have Ruchir Puri back on the podcast. He is a chief scientist for IBM. He's part of IBM Research, an IBM Fellow, vice president of IBM Technology. I could go on and on. Look, I always like to grab Ruchir's point of view on all technology. We'll probably hit a few topics today that are of interest, like agentic, like large language models, all things AI. We've got a lot to cover, man. Thank you for being here again. This is always exciting for me. You know what I do? I just light the fireworks and I step away when you come on. That's what's fantastic about this, dude. Welcome.
Thank you, Al. I really appreciate it. Wonderful to be here again with you.
Yes.
The life has changed a whole lot since we were here last time, so looking forward to it.
I got to keep having you on like it's like weekly or something, given how fast technology is changing, man. I tell you. So we got IBM Think coming up. For those listening, it's our business conference from May 5th through 8th in Boston. And that's different from our Tech Exchange conference that is in October from 6th to 9th in Orlando this year. That's more of a tech conference. I mean, there's tech on both sides, but we cater to the business with Think. I know you have plans for that. I presume you're preparing. And look, any hints that you want to talk about that you're going to talk about at Think?
I think everybody is calling really our push into agents that are ready for enterprises. So that'll be a major theme for us. Another theme will be, and that sometimes get overlooked, none of this will be possible without data.
Yes.
So really our capabilities around enterprise data and getting it ready for AI. Then obviously, the world runs on a solid transactional platform. We'll be talking a lot about the work we've been doing in sort of one of the best transaction processing platform of all times, IBM Z. So we have a lot coming up, and I'm really excited about data and AI, state-of-the-art processing for transaction processing. Amazingly, the world of computing is changing as well. So we are doing lots of work around quantum computing. Has been a lot in the news lately. So really looking to the future, things around quantum, to keep really having a roadmap for the enterprises regarding where is this technology going, where are we today, where are we going tomorrow, so that we are a trusted partner for them through our consulting colleagues, broadly speaking.
Fantastic. It's a good summary. And by the way, for you listeners, that roadmap, you can go out there and look for IBM Atlas, and it'll outline that roadmap as Ruchir just described. Hey, I got so excited. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Let me give you just a couple minutes to introduce yourself. I know you've been on before, but there may be some laggards that are coming into this podcast late or something. Take just a minute to introduce yourself, and then I'll dive back in.
Thanks, Al. So my role is, as Al just mentioned earlier, is Chief Scientist of IBM Research. I've been on the product side. I've been on the research side for long. I was CTO of Watson as well for 4 years before I took this current role as Chief Scientist of IBM Research. I also am IBM Fellow, and I look after, sort of broadly speaking, IBM's technology portfolio, leading and helping with our technology team as well, which is a sort of small focus group of IBM technologists who focus on IBM's technical strategy. Even more importantly, I would say, sort of, I have been lucky enough to work at every level of abstraction in our computing stack, from down into the chips and transistors to computer architecture, to really above it, really designing circuits with algorithms, to processors, to GPUs, to accelerating workloads with GPUs. Before it was widely popular way back in 2011, 12 years back now. Then working on Watson itself, and then now, of course, working on all technologies, including my latest passion is around agents.
So I'm going to hit several of those. But I got to ask you, in all that you do, what do you like most? What's the most enjoyable thing about your job? Is it just the tech? Is it getting on stage and inspiring people about the tech? Is it solving problems? What's most enjoyable to you?
Personally, what is most enjoyable to me is solving problems. uh, and solving problems so that we can be much more efficient. I'm a huge fan of automation. So the way I describe a job of a what is the job of an engineer? How do we capture job of an engineer? Broadly, the job of an engineer is to really come up with technologies, techniques, methods to really replace themselves, if I may say it that way. By that,
Mhm.
I mean, if you are doing something today manually, tomorrow you want to do that with machines. Doesn't matter, you are a mechanical engineer, you are an electrical engineer, you are a computer engineer, you are a computer scientist. You want to automate the heck out of work, because then you are more efficient, you are more productive, you can do things that are more creative in nature, actually. That's the whole point, actually, and I think we'll talk a whole lot about it. I just gave a keynote at our IBM Tech Forum, which was really
Yep.
all around this topic of nature of work, actually, and what technology means for the nature of work as we move forward, and what forces are shaping that, the what I'll describe as future of work. um,
Look, I'm an electrical engineer, so I resemble those remarks. But some people are scared by that automation, right? It means like jobs being taken away. They get scared. What do you say to them?
So it's interesting. I think I certainly hear them. I wouldn't say I sympathize, because I'll tell you why, actually. At Let's go back, really centuries almost. Somebody was somebody was banging a nail with a stone. Somebody invented a hammer. Did we stop banging nails? No. We said, hey, I could bang more nails, actually. I could make my house more robust. It only had 5 nails before. I could do 100, actually, and it can withstand winds. It can withstand a lot of. Then we said, hey, I don't need a hammer. I can use electricity to bang nails, actually, now. So you go Home Depot, buy something, machines, and that actually bang nails for you. Did we stop banging nails? No, we didn't
No,
stop
no.
banging nails. We said, hey, we could build bigger houses. We could build warehouses. We could do like so many different things with it. So I am of firm belief that technologies make you find new ways of making our life better, more fulfilling overall. And this transition will be no different, other than the fact that it feels like it may be different because it is in the first time of human evolution that we are starting to finally automate something which was thought to be not automatable, which is human
Mhm.
knowledge. The generation of or sort of human knowledge or language was supposed to be not automatable. In fact, if you look through sort of human evolution or our society, in every revolution the society has gone through, let's go through industrial revolution. Somebody quote unquote lost their job as they were
Mhm.
doing things
Yeah, yeah.
manually. Machines came across, and you know what was prized more? What was really prized? Knowledge. If you could read, write, really create knowledge, that was prized. Now, in this crank of the revolution, it appears that understanding language, analyzing language, and creating language is something that is not as hard. What is hard is, by the way, creation of new knowledge. You can absorb existing knowledge, understand it, analyze it, and reproduce it. What is hard is really creation of new knowledge, which is, to me, that is again really engineering, sciences, technology is all about. What is new? What people say, what is differentiating, what is new? And I think it just continues to push us towards things that are new and will make us as better as a society. There are so many fundamental problems to be solved. If all existing knowledge could solve it, they would have been solved by now. Obviously it can't solve it. New knowledge needs to be created to solve cancer, to solve so many diseases around in the world, actually. And that's why I'm more excited about it, because then we can get real time to solve those rather than do things manually, actually.
Pretty good answer. I'm kind of with you. Every major change in the world to me has already always created more jobs. Like when the Industrial Revolution came along, they said, oh, it's going to take away jobs, created more jobs. When the computer came along, they said, oh, now we're going to have a lot of free time. I don't know about you, but I don't have any free time. And then now AI is this is different though. It's gonna take away a lot of jobs. It may take away some, but it's gonna create new jobs. I'm with you. If you're a continuous learner, that's why I always
Hey,
preach
look at this
continuous.
technology. This was supposed to make our life, hey, you will
Yes,
have a lot of free
he's
time. You
showing
can
the
access
phone.
things from anywhere. Like you have no free time. I have no free time. Like even
Yeah.
when I'm on a beach, like people are pinging me. Like
Just made me work like 24/7. There's no question about it. All right. So last time we left, and I want to go to agentic AI here in just a second. But before I go there, we were talking about large language models the last time I think we were in discussion. So where does it sit today? What's new? What should we care about right now in terms of large language model? What has changed, if anything?
something very fundamental has changed actually, and I would say if I go back, couple of decades, we were in the decade of machine learning with techniques that were more analytics techniques. We are in the world of generative AI, which is powered by large language models. And large language models take a input, a prompt, and give you output.
Yep.
Think of it as question answer. And if you don't like the output, what do you do? You as a user, what do? You change the
I
input.
changed the input.
You change the input.
Yes.
Now you don't like something, you change the input.
Yes.
Those kind of systems, you are an electrical engineer, so you will sympathize with me on this. Every electrical engineer is supposed to take a control theory course. They are called feed
Yes.
forward systems. Feed
Yes.
forward systems is you give it input, it processes it, it gives you output. You don't like the output, you change the input. There's no machine doesn't change the input, the system doesn't change the input, you change the input.
Yeah.
Now we are heading into the world with agents where you give it a task, it breaks the task down into multiple steps. For every step, it may find a tool. Say, hey, I can do that task better with that tool actually. And then it executes that tool, it gets the result, it assembles all the results together, it looks at the combined result and say, oh, this is not aligned with what was asked to me. Let me iterate back, replan.
Mm-hmm.
And it continues to iterate until you get the right answer. Those kind of systems in engineering are called feedback systems.
Feedback loop.
Feedback systems are some of the most important, powerful systems in the world. I hope all humans are feedback systems. They take feedback into account. Not all of them
should
are,
be.
but they should be.
Yeah.
So you are moving from the world of large language models that are powering assistants, which are feed forward systems. That's why this term of prompt engineering, which is was called profession of the future. I think it's profession of the past actually. With agentic AI, it is profession of the past. So you are moving from the world of feed forward systems to feedback system.
Yep.
There is another technology in the play actually. So far in the world of generative AI and large language models, we thought intelligence can only be built at training time actually. Whether it is pre-training the models, you hear about these models, Llama and Granite and OpenAI and a whole bunch of other models, and they've become bigger and more data and larger and more expensive. I'm only going to build all intelligence in the model at training time. We discovered a new law in last year and a half. It says, I don't have to do everything at training time. I could do things at runtime. By that I mean, I could actually take a model, a not so powerful model. I can ask it to produce 100 different answers. And I can have a good judge or actually a good model that selects good ones out of them actually dynamically and continues to evolve. Actually, this is called, what is known as inference scaling or test time scaling now. So you can actually take a smaller model or a weaker model and you can iterate on it at runtime / inference time to get to an answer which is same as or better than what you get by doing everything at training. So agents also have started incorporating this new technology with this new law. With previously it was all intelligence is only built at training time. Two, now intelligence, some of it is built at training time, But rest of it I'm going to derive at inference time for the question you asked me, actually. So this is not like, if you don't get the right answer, nothing I can do. I can iterate on, the question you asked me. I can actually get many possible answers for it. I can choose the right one out of those at runtime. And that is so powerful because you are moving from the world of intelligence at training time only to intelligence at inference time or runtime, which is very suited to your particular question. It's also very efficient as well because the models, when they're deployed, are very efficient. Training is very, very expensive. It literally takes thousands and thousands of GPUs with megawatts and gigawatts of power to run. Inference is very cheap. You can run it actually on your phone effectively.
Right. But I think for the question, the podcast listeners, what is it? How does that learning get back into the main model, or does it?
It actually, in this case, it doesn't get back into the main model because the model is, think of it as it comes sort of powerful at training time. Right. The rest of the power or the intelligence is derived for the question you asked, and it gets done every time. And that's why you get a much better, quote unquote, personalized answer for the question you are asking versus a vanilla answer, if I may say. Like if the model knew it, great. If it didn't know it, well, too bad, actually. In this case, it actually tries to get the best possible answer for the question that you asked. So you're moving from the world of feed forward systems to feedback systems. You're moving from the world of intelligence at training time only to intelligence at training time and also intelligence at inference/runtime, so that your answers can be much more efficient in terms of cost and power. Power means electrical power, and also can be much more efficient in terms of quality as well. So you get a better quality at a reduced cost.
How do you avoid discovering the answer over and over and over again, though? Because you're going to have multiple agents, and maybe it's going to be the same answer every time. That's not in the main model, if you follow what I'm saying. I get you intelligence on runtime. How do you avoid continuing to learn or continuing to go down a path that's going to cost you at least inferencing cycles when you know that, hey, look, I've already discovered this once. It should be cached, or it should be out there so I don't have to reuse it or rediscover it every time.
Excellent point, actually. So this is what we call sort of systems. Now you go to the system and say, my system should have memory. If there's a pattern I see continuously, I should cache it in some way. You may cache it in a knowledge graph. You may cache it otherwise. Interestingly, this concept is true even for assistants as well. That if I'm seeing an answer every time, rather than going to the, getting that answer repeatedly all over again, going to the model all over again, if you know something, just pull it. What's the capital of Paris? The capital of France. Everybody's asking you all the time. You don't have to go ask the model. It's like it should be cached, actually, as an example. So in this particular case, there are additional capabilities that are built for systems that enable you to be even more efficient on top of what is known as inference time scaling, which is you can, given a pattern, and if you see that pattern repeatedly, you can start caching the answers of those patterns as well, which is what I'll describe as systems with memory.
What is Ruchir's definition of agentic AI, and where are we at really?
I have a very precise definition of agents, actually, because people have, that word has been reused, abused in all kind of ways you can think about. Precise definition of agents actually really incorporates sort of three fundamental things, I would say. An AI agent is an autonomous system that can use tools. It can collaborate with other agents as well to plan and act on tasks that are given to it. After it acts, the agent reflects on the results of its actions, learning iteratively and refining its approach to really better align with the task objectives. So it does three things. It does think/plan, it does act/execute, and it does observe/reflect. So it goes through this loop, what we call TAO loop, TAO. Think, act, observe. Think, act, observe. And it In acting, it uses tools or other agents to act. And there is a lot written about, everybody is kind of doing agent washing in many ways. Everything that was an assistant became an agent.
Mm-hmm.
People just know in their marketing charts erasing the assistant and calling it an agent. In my mind, until it does those three things of think, act, observe, and rethink, act, observe, it is not an agent, because agents are feedback systems. People are starting to call feed forward systems as feedback systems. They're not actually. And that to me is a fundamental definition of agent. Now, to your second part of your question, where are we? I think we are at a point still of. So I'll give you a good example actually. So when ChatGPT came out, in 2 years back roughly or so, a lot of people tried to kind of fool it and say, "Oh, let me give it two numbers to add, some two random numbers to add,"
Mm-hmm.
and it got it wrong. It got it wrong almost all the time, because adding two numbers is not a next token prediction problem. Adding two numbers is, can somebody tell ChatGPT to use a tool that humans have used for centuries called a calculator?
Mm-hmm.
And then they incorporated a calculator. And if the question is asking, to add two numbers, go give those two numbers to a calculator, get the result, integrate it in. So now I am more likely to trust the answer, because it can actually call tools and execute on tools and integrate it within. So we are very much at the sort of the beginning of this massive reinvention of what I call future of work. Because what does work mean for us as a society? Work means a particular task. You may think and plan about that task. You will use tools for that task, all kind of tools. By the way, if you are doing planning for a vacation trip, you're going to go on a website or do some things. Actually, everything in the world is becoming digital. For all these digital processes, I can call these tools on the fly, get the results. So we are at the beginning of this phase where the tools are starting to get encapsulated as sort of objects which can be exposed to agents now. Once that happens, and I'll say sort of a geeky term, there's a protocol that is emerging in the world, which was started by Anthropic. The whole world has sort of embracing it now, called MCP, which is
Mm-hmm.
known as Model Context Protocol. How agents and tools will collaborate with each other and the data and the model. So think of it as how we will communicate in this new world of agents. How the tools will talk to the agents, how the tools will collect the data, so how they will connect with each other. A communication portal, a digital communication protocol for that. And different tools and agents are starting to get sort of wrapped, if I may say, uh, with that protocol to be ready for this agentic world. That buildup is happening in front of our eyes as we speak right now. Every company you can think about, every enterprise you can think about, including IBM, is starting to really encapsulate their products and offerings and tools in these what is known as MCP servers actually. Once that buildup happens, then these agents have a plethora of literally millions of tools and capabilities at their disposal. And I fully expect a exponential buildup in the capabilities of agents. We are in the beginning of that phase where the world is starting to get ready for agentic, if I may say, tsunami. But that tsunami is going to really ramp up like a exponential curve actually, because once you are ready, then it really triggers the tsunami of, I can actually use anything at my disposal. Then the question will be, how do I discover the right tool, and so on. So there are questions ahead of us as well, but we are in the beginning phases. But I fully believe, I call 2025 is the year of agents, because that's when we started became serious about it and starting getting the world ready for that tsunami.
First of all, why did Anthropic? How did they take the lead with MCP? I mean, IBM's been doing this a while. Other people been doing this a while. How did they end up with MCP, and now everybody following that?
I think this is how the open ecosystem works. First of all, MCP is an open protocol. Whether I would say following way, and this is with all high due respect, and I have high regard to my colleagues, technical colleagues across the world.
Yeah, yeah.
They're smart people everywhere. They're really smart people, actually.
There are
So
dumb
for
people
any
everywhere too. No,
single
I'm just
company
kidding.
to claim that we know exactly, so much of innovation is taking place in this area, not just in United States alone, but whether it is in China or whether it is in Europe or other places as well, or India or other places too,
Hmm.
that innovations come from all pockets actually. At IBM, we definitely understand enterprise workloads and what is needed for agents to become enterprise ready amazingly well actually. So there is one thing building an agent, and there is another thing making sure the agent has the right security, has the right management, has the right authentication, has, like, you wouldn't just give any tool to anybody, right? In an enterprise, there are some guidelines actually. Our focus is more on, of course, building the agents and offering the right set of capabilities, but it is about enterprise ready capabilities where the enterprises can trust those tools and capabilities to build their agents and deploy those agents and so on. So, no, why they did it, why Anthropic did it, to be honest as well, there are gaps in that protocol. Today, there are gaps in that protocol. It's well known, actually. So they did it from the point of view of, hey, these three things should work together. Here's a simple protocol. There are gaps in that protocol, and those are exactly the gaps that we are working towards sort of fulfilling. It's good that the world adapts a standard, if I may say it that way. That's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
bad thing, by the way. That's a good thing.
Sure.
But collectively, we can come together as a community and say and recognize, by the way, that's thing that we all like from a usability point of view has gaps in terms of enterprise adoption. Here are the gaps. Here are we as a community are going to come together. It's almost like the Linux model. Somebody else did it. We knew operating system very well. Actually, it's not like we didn't know operating system, but we all rallied around it because that was the right thing to do for the world, because it offered everybody another
Fair.
option. Actually,
Fair, but let me ask you a follow up then. Who does agentic AI for the enterprise the best? Maybe that's a simple question, but who's the leader?
yeah, I would really say I'll give a slightly nuanced answer, and I'll tell you why. Actually, I'm giving a nuanced answer. There are software vendors who are well entrenched and have very strongly adapted capabilities in their own spaces. In terms of bringing all of this together, whether you want to have an agent in Salesforce, you want to have an agent in ServiceNow, you want to build an agent on a hyperscaler somewhere, it doesn't matter where you build your agents and whose agents do you utilize. We will provide you integrations for that. You can build and also you can build your agent in
We be
Crew.
an IBM. We be
Yeah,
an
the
IBM. Yeah.
IBM will actually really bring this together. So what is our focus? Our focus has all our strategy has been hybrid and AI. For we know people will, this is too diverse a field still.
Mm-hmm.
Crew AI has a way of building a framework for building agents. So does LangChain and LangGraph and others have a way of building agents. We support several highly popular frameworks. We offer people options, but the key thing is we bring all of this together. You can have a Salesforce agent. You can have an agent in ServiceNow. You can build agents with our IBM watsonx orchestrate offering as well, actually. But the key point is the agentic platform that we are offering, which will be announced at Think as well, watsonx orchestrate, brings all of this together from a hybrid point of view and also from an enterprise AI readiness point of view as well, from a security, from an authentication, from a management, and from deployment, from guidelines, from compliance, all of those point of view. And on those capabilities for hybrid nature of this entire ecosystem, nobody does it better than IBM does actually.
Good answer. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just not preaching to the choir here. I was going to ask you IBM's differentiation, but I figured you'd hit it with that last question. Podcast listeners, I'm going to stop part one with Ruchir Puri here, and we'll pick it back up next week where we're going to continue with more agentic AI. Stay tuned. It's going to be great. See you next week. Bye.